Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube video. You're here with your host GBHL Damien, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. It's Mr.
Tom Harrison.
Tom Harrison! Woo! Good to see you, sir.
Cheers. Nice to see you too.
Oh, thanks. It's been a while since we've had Tom Harrison in a video, which is good. It's good for you guys. I think Tom Harrison's great on GBHL YouTube videos, and I think it's only sad that you don't get to see him more regularly on GBHL YouTube videos. So make the most of this Tom Harrison, because this is probably the last Tom Harrison you're going to see in a GBHL video for a very long time. But yes, we are together again. It's been a while since you've done a thing, hasn't it? For the channel?
Yeah.
What was the last thing you did?
When was the last that yours? The Rap of Rohan with #Bosch. That was the last
Bosch.
time.
Oh, that was closer than I was thinking, actually.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like our tournament. I forgot.
Yeah, the last time I was actually speaking to the camera
was when you were asleep.
Yeah, it was when I was very asleep.
Absolutely.
And couldn't talk very well.
But why are we here today?
We are here today to discuss the Longbottom Carnival. So this is a tournament for us on the UK scene that will be going on this weekend. So this video needs to come out the week before.
I think, have a look at your calendars, guys. I think this video is going to be out on Wednesday. Might be out on Tuesday. No, Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's coming out on Tuesday, I think.
You can't change now you've said.
No, this video is coming out on Tuesday.
Yeah, let's edit that out.
I can't be bothered. Yeah, it's coming out on Tuesday, and the tournament is on Sunday.
And Monday.
And Monday. Because it's bank holiday.
Yeah.
It's quite a it's quite hard to get your head around that sometimes when you get used to it being weekend tournaments.
Yeah.
And like making sure you don't turn up there on the Saturday. I think would be quite crucial.
But this is a yearly thing that they do on this bank holiday every year, so you can just book up this bank holiday.
Yeah.
If your auntie's saying come round,
don't go around.
No.
Don't go around. Awful idea. It's also, I believe, now the longest running UK indie tournament. This is its third year.
That is a great start.
Thanks. Thank you.
There's not many stats in this business, but
great start.
Great
start. Yeah, I think this is the third year, and I think this is the only regular event that's run for 3 years. I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done to Chris and Damien. It's run by Titans War Games Club, which is based in Finchley. So they're the kind of big Lord of the Rings players down there. They're actually the club that got me into, I guess, into the scene. I didn't go to the first Longbottom Carnival, but after going to doubles, I think it was.
Yep.
I started looking for independent tournaments and found the review of the first one, and then got in touch with Titans, and then went along, and that's where I met Chris and Damien and Tom Lee, and started playing with them, and that's how I got into the kind of indie scene. So yeah, I owe a lot to Titans. Very excited to be going back to another events.
Yeah, and for those who don't know where Finchley is, it's outskirts of London.
It's near Wembley.
Yeah.
Relatively, you know. If you're in Finchley, it's not near Wembley. But if you're in England, it's near Wembley. You know. All depends where you start. But yeah, very close transport links. It's West Finchley Station, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is like a 2-minute walk away. Something like that. It's right next door, so really good transport links. Yeah.
Yeah, on the central line.
So yeah, very well served by that. We went last year.
Yep.
How was last year?
I think I said so ages ago when Jamie first started the channel. He did player interviews in the original podcast style, so there was no video. He just Skyped us and had a chat, and he asked me which was my favourite tournament so far, and of the independent ones, obviously excluding Games Workshop, that was my favourite tournament, I think.
So why was that?
Quite a few reasons. One is that it's quite a big player base that goes there.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time before the desolation of Stockport, and hopefully the desolation of Stockport 2.0, it's going to have even more people, but it was the biggest independent tournament around.
Yeah, last year's Longbottom was the biggest one.
30 plus, I think.
Yeah, I think they sold out at 32 last year, I think.
And I really like how they have special terrain on every board. And one of the great things is they always have at least one cool custom scenario just to mix it up. And, you know, if you're going for fun or competitiveness, both types of players are going to appreciate new scenarios to play.
There's always different stuff, isn't there? In the event pack, there's always a different scenario or some different
some special rules.
And we'll get onto that, I'm sure.
Just makes it so much fun. And then obviously being a 2-day event, I mean, there's obviously more to a day events, but gives you the opportunity to have the evening, which I guess James and Jamie talk about all the time as well in their tournament reviews, as being a special thing.
It's kind of what it's really about, isn't it? But I feel very much now that I agree with you that last year was absolutely brilliant, and part of that is the social thing. And bizarrely, I don't know if you agree with this, but this was in obviously August last year, but the Preston tournament, which I think was October, wasn't it? That tournament was, I think, a huge catalyst for the social side of the group that's bloomed so much in this year, because everyone from that tournament went out that one night and we all sat together.
Apart from me.
Oh, you didn't go? He wasn't there. Oh God, I forgot.
This is why I liked it so much.
It was an awesome night.
It was like Unchained. He could talk about me all he wanted and I wasn't there to defend myself.
Maybe that's where I started my hate campaign.
Yeah, so my parents my parents live very close to Preston, so they kindly put Damien and Mr. Sam Page and myself up on the Friday night.
In the spare wing. Yeah,
in the spare wing. And I went back on the Saturday to have a meal with them and play a board game whilst these guys went out and
Sorry dude, I totally forgot. But we all went, it was the first tournament I think where everyone had kind of gone out together.
Yeah.
And then you've seen that in all, particularly all the like Mansfield ones and everything where there's been a 2-dayer, that kind of, the scene's changed in the last year.
Yeah.
So having this 2-dayer with the atmosphere it normally has, with that added thing, I think the Saturday night's like going to be really cool. I think there's going to be a lot of.
Definitely.
I think there's now By the way, part of the reason we're doing this is it's not sold out. So if you like the sound of this, there are currently, I believe I was texting Chris earlier today, 37 people signed up, which I think is a Titans record.
Yeah.
For attendance, and there are their capacity is 42 this year. So there are 5 places left. So if you do like the sound of this and you're free this weekend on Sunday and Monday, get onto the GBHL Facebook page and go and sign up. So yeah, we think it's going to be a
How much is it?
weekend. £15, I believe. We have our event pack here. This is my researcher.
Does it have?
It's probably near the start.
£15.
£15, which is it doesn't include lunch at Titans, but it's it's both your days kind of entry.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good, pretty competitive for a 2-day event, I think.
Yeah. And
it's a kind of you're in a scout hut with loads and loads of boards full of great terrain. So it's kind of you won't be setting up trestle tables and stuff. I think you'll rock up and it'll all be ready, which will be it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So a couple of points. Going back to the whole going out after Preston, that was kind of the catalyst. That was the first tournament that James. GBHL James attended.
It was, yeah, of course it was. Yeah,
so, completely unrelated, the fact that it snowballed from him turning up to an event.
Yeah, well, yeah, there was that kind of, who's this guy with a camera? I remember at the time, do you want to interview her? No, I don't want to interview me.
No interview.
No. And yeah, that kind of enthusiasm has then, as you can see, it's definitely got worked on me.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done to James and Jamie for getting that sort of thing going. But yeah, so the biggest previously indie tournament combined with this new snowboarding social thing should make this a rather excellent weekend.
Yeah.
I think. So what have we got at this tournament? How many points?
Points is 700, so slightly larger than some of the ones we've had this year actually.
I like that. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Not entirely impartially, I know I've always said. I know I've always, who knows what army I'm using. I know, like, for my kind of feral army, I've always thought 750 is the sweet spot, but I'm not a big fan of 500 point games. I think for SPG 600 to 800 is the perfect sort of area for me. So it's because you get some big toys without the games getting hugely bogged down. So I think that's a really good points value room.
Yeah, as long as someone doesn't bring 72 goblins.
Yes. Is that your plan?
No. Yeah, so 700 points. There's no real restrictions, though we'll come on to it later. You really want to be taking an unnamed hero. That's the only thing that you might want to build into your army. But other than that, I don't think there's any restrictions at all. Not even
They're quite Titans are quite free on proxies as well.
Yeah.
Not to say you can take anything for anything, but they're quite big fans of the whole. You know, as long as your models look right for what they're meant to be representing, then you can bring that, which I know appeals to a lot of people. Yeah. So you can. And I think there's a dragon coming that's not a GW dragon. I think I've seen someone chatting about that. I think. So you know that's quite cool because you might see some models that you wouldn't normally see possibly from other manufacturers.
Well, talking of models you don't see, so
Tolkien.
Talking of models you don't see.
Hey.
Yeah, this is why you employ GBHL Damien and not GBHL James and Jamie.
What, for the puns?
For the puns.
Yeah, I'm puntastic.
Anyway, so last time, not the Longbottom Carnival, so Titans actually do 2 tournaments. They do a small tournament, a 300-point tournament, or 350 points depending, which this year was the actual GBHL League decider.
Good tournament.
This year the League decider will be Stockport 3.0? Let's
Apparently
have
not.
A guess? No,
he said it's not
the Battle of 5 Stockports?
The Battle of 5 Jameses.
Where is the James and the Rider?
That'll teach him to give me a GBHL title, won't it? Where is the James and the Rider? Yeah, it's going to be, I think he wants to, because it's just him doing it, I think he wants to distinguish it from the James and Jamie Desolation event, so it will be a different event, I think.
Yeah. Rules pack, all mounted models only.
Maybe it'll be a tournament. That's pretty. No, right. No. I thought that was better than that.
No. Anyway, my point. I was trying to be nice to Damien, not this Damien at Titans. In the last tournament, he had a scenario which involved Mirkwood spiders, and as we know, Mirkwood spiders, you know. They're very cool looking, especially when people put them in trees. I don't know if people saw from Throne of Skulls, people putting them in trees. I'm on about the other guy's one in the tree.
Oh, right.
Okay. But yeah, Mirkwood spiders are very expensive, and if you're trying to do the scenario in the Desolation of Smaug book, it's extortionate.
You need 18 Mirkwood spiders.
It's £200 or something silly, isn't it?
It's 9 boxes, isn't it? So you're 225.
Yeah. So a lot of money anyway.
Puns and maths.
Yeah. Puns and maths. Yeah.
That's how I got this room, guys. Puns and maths.
And the videos.
And the YouTube videos.
Anyway, so other Damien decided that he'd buy some toy spiders, and I think with a lot of people, buying toy spiders would stand out a long way, but Damien's painting is pretty exceptional, and he has made them look real.
Yeah, I think he said though. I think he said 50p each off eBay or something.
I mean,
but they don't look like toy spiders. They don't, you know, they don't look like fine cast miniatures. No. But certainly plonking them on the table, and I've certainly got an idea at some point for trying to get him off him to do that scenario. Yeah. As some sort of battle report or something, because he had 18. But they're really good.
He did give one away as a prize as well, which was very nice. Can't remember what the prize was for. Oh, whoever did best in that scenario got to take home a Mirkwood spider, which was very good.
So they always kind of go the extra mile, don't they? It's always new scenery.
I mean, the prizes last time were ridiculous. I mean, they had so obviously they had a prize for first, second, third, most sporting, and best army, which are the kind of usual prizes that you'll have at the tournament. But they also had prizes for whoever performed the best in each scenario. But because they want to spread the prizes around, if you had won one of the bigger prizes, you couldn't win one of these prizes. Yeah. Which is very good. And the other thing they did was because there was an odd number of people, Damien and Chris both had to play during the day. Yeah. And they gave a prize to whoever did the best against them during the day. Or over it was one day for that one. So yeah, very generous.
And the prizes were the barrels out of Bond models, weren't they? Everyone got a dwarf with a barrel, which is really cool.
Your £15 is already looking like a bargain. Yeah.
As long as you're either top 3 or nice or have a good army.
or win a scenario.
Or win a scenario, you can knock a couple of quid off your ticket price, which is good. Yeah. So there's all the boards and stuff. Like I think the first year they bought a load of the Amira scenery. Last year they had the Erebor board, which I know I think James has had a couple of bad games on it and didn't like it, but I've played on it a few times and I love it. I think it's completely different. Yeah, I played my first ever game against GBHL Jamie. We had a great game, absolutely loved it, like really, really good. And it's a very different kind of
milking.
very different kind of cow. It's a very different kind of line of sight experience. Because it's not kind of, oh, can I? It's like there's these columns and you can or you can't. You know, there's really no debate about it. And I think it's quite interesting. Now, obviously it does suit some armies more than others, but if you've got two kind of infantry armies fighting around, I think it's really cool. And I know, I don't want to say, because if I am right, it might spoil it, but I know they were thinking of doing an incredibly cool board for this year. Oh. So I don't know if it will happen, and they probably won't want me to say if it did, but they were talking about it.
Oh, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, it would make sense thematically for the year, but it also might not happen. You know, this was Chris like 6 months ago, I think.
Yeah, and these guys have jobs as well.
Yeah, exactly. But you could, I don't know, I think it's a safe bet you could probably expect to see a new board there, I would have thought, of some sort.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the boards are one of the strong points of the tournament. I think really what it did was it opened up the door to other tournaments like East Grinstead and Desolation of Stockport. They raised the bar, and then these other tournaments have come out and tried to better that.
It's never kind of competing, is it? But it's seeing what other people have done.
Yeah, it's more a standard that people should aspire to.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So well done, Titans.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, starting on Sunday, we've got 6 games, 3 games each day. And what scenarios have we got?
So, after registration, the first game is Reconnoiter, but not as you know it exactly. So, I think it's quite clear that Reconnoiter, if you bring a Horde army, it's very difficult to stop the Horde army from winning, bar throwing yourself into it and dying quickly, as James tried to do against Ed's Hobbits. And I'm sure you've heard about that, so close. So what the guys have done is modified the scenario by saying that the victory points for getting off the board are capped at 5, which means that if you do the leader kill and breaking, you can still beat a Horde force 6-5.
Yes.
So how the points work, it's if you have one more model than more models than your opponent is 1 victory point. Double the number of models than your opponent have got off, that's 3 points, and 5 points if you treble that amount. If your opponent gets 0 and you have at least 1, that's 5 points as well.
Yeah, they count as having 1, don't they?
Yeah,
so it's got 0.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth trying to get 1 off, because then you can get a 5 point.
I think the point of it was they wanted to make a reason to have the scrap.
Yeah.
You need a reason to fight for breaking and fight for the leader kills.
Yeah.
As opposed to just doing that.
Yeah.
We've played games like this as a bit of a test, haven't we? Yeah. Where essentially we just had the 2 armies walk off against each other shooting. Yeah. Because we both started within 1 of each other, did we?
So it's whoever wins the shooting war and can run off.
Which is rubbish and isn't how the scenario is intended.
No.
So it's a good change. It's fairly well established at Titans now. I think they started it in the small tournament last year.
So they've done it twice, and this is the.
So I think this will be the 4th. I think it was a small tournament, Longbottom, small tournament, Longbottom.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it will be.
Possibly. It might have only been Longbottom last year. It was definitely at Longbottom last year, so this is definitely a 3rd time. Might be the 4th. But it's a good change. I think obviously Goblin players will violently disagree, and Elf players will love it.
Yeah.
But all hero armies.
Yeah, all hero armies especially. But it gives them a chance. Otherwise, they've got absolutely no hope. Well, I say no hope. Maybe hope if you've got Felbeast, but you can get around quickly. But
anyone will bring Felbeast?
No.
I thought so.
No.
Terrible idea.
Yeah.
What's up next?
So after lunch, it's To the Death, which is, in our opinion, we'd like to modify that in that having...
Yeah, GBHL South.
Yeah. I mean, I know that
Jamie loves it. Yeah, Jamie really likes it, which is fair enough.
That's why he takes a banner. That's why he loves it.
Difference of opinion is wonderful. But
he can be wrong if he wants.
But I've never... I don't mind the story, but I don't think it at all reflects the thing. I've never personally liked the fact that you get victory points from a banner. It's stupid because you might as well say
totally arbitrary.
Yeah, it is. It's entirely arbitrary. You get victory points if you have 4 camels. You know, if you've got 4 camels in your army, you get 2 VPs. At the end of the game, if you have no camels remaining, you have no VP.
I don't think people look up to camels though. They do look up to banners.
Yeah, I suppose. But also, it cripples instantly Goblin Town, Moria, anything that can't take a banner, which personally I don't like. And
yeah, my big grudge with it is that once you've broken the enemy, there is 0 point in fighting.
Yeah.
You might as well hide your leader, hide your banner, which just goes against everything you want to be doing when you're playing. You want to be just having a big scrap, and there really needs to be victory points for getting the enemy down to 25% first.
Yeah.
And even breaking first
Yeah.
as a reason to
It's
go
not
for
to
it.
the death, is it? It's
No.
to half the death.
Yeah, and then stop.
It's to breaking and then run away. Hide your leader, hide
So it's
your
more
banner.
like the old Clash of Pickets scenario,
Yeah.
where it was kind of a small skirmish and then run up,
Yeah.
as in that kind of action.
So that's our issue with it, but
Yeah, it doesn't
north
say,
of the border they disagree on it.
doesn't say what it does on the tin, the scenario, anyway.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's just it doesn't encourage you to keep fighting.
No.
But it's a fairly simple scenario. So I imagine we'll see
That's
some
why Jamie
banners.
likes it.
Yeah, it's fairly simple.
That was the gag.
Yeah, I repeated it in case people didn't realise, and then I could claim it. So I think we'll see a fair few banners.
Yeah.
You planning on taking a banner?
I think we'll get on to this, but I don't have an army at present.
Do you have an army?
No.
Outstanding. Fantastic. That's the
I
kind
have
of that's the
models
kind
to
of plan
make
that
an
got
army.
Tom to number 2 in the league
Yeah.
last year.
I've not done a Jamie. I've not made 50 lists and, oh, not that one, no.
That's an outstanding impression as well.
It was. I'll show it to James, and James was like, no, not that one. Yeah, so I was planning to paint quite a few models. I say quite a few, about 12 models.
That was loads.
And I've had about 2 months to do so. It's quite a while since the last tournament.
It is, isn't it? It was the East Grinstead one.
Yes.
It was at least a month. I said this to Emma, my wife. I was like saying, yeah, it's actually been a while, and she kind of rolled her eyes and go, yeah, to you. You know, and I was like, how long has it been? She was like, it's like 5 weeks. It's not a very long time. It's been ages.
Yeah, every sport has its summer break.
I miss everyone.
So yeah, as yet I don't have an army. So
Cool.
perhaps we could discuss that later.
Yeah,
And you could have my army list devised live on the chat.
that'd be exciting. What's up? It's game 3.
Third game is Hold Ground.
Cool.
So I really like the fact that you come on from
I like
any
Hold
board
Ground,
edge.
yeah.
I know that it's not perhaps the best for a competitive game, in that there's quite an element of luck as to where you start, especially on the priority roll.
Yeah.
My fix for it would be to have it alternate deployment, so you can't gang up as easily on your opponent, because you'd have to risk ganging up on them
My
as
warband,
opposed to
your warband, or my
because it
warband,
could end
your
up
warband.
the other way. Whereas if someone's deployed everything first and they have a stray warband, you can easily pounce on that with your warband.
I'm a big fan of the fact that your forces get split up, so you don't just get 2 shield walls.
Yeah, because
I quite like the idea that when you roll the dice for the side thing, your opponent doesn't, you know, the dice to see which side they come on for.
Okay.
Your opponent doesn't get to place it. Your opponent just gets to pick the side.
Yeah.
So if you roll 2 or maybe if you always started in the middle or something like that, the
Mhm.
middle of the edge, so your opponent goes, right, you have to go on that edge, but you get to pick where you go on the edge.
Yeah.
So, you know, it splits your army up without isolating a warband and trapping them.
that might work.
So you're not just a hat rat.
That is an idea.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I like it. I'm a fan of Hold Ground. So that'll be interesting. And that suits a horde army, because it's points
Yeah.
in the middle,
Yeah.
broadly
And
speaking.
I think James a lot of the time says it doesn't suit cavalry because cavalry can't really be static, but for Hold Ground you really need to be static in the middle.
Yeah, I think he's more bothered about high ground, isn't he?
Yeah,
So he can set up on the hill.
Yeah. Yeah, at least you can get to it, go beyond it in this one and block the enemy. Yeah.
And that's day 1.
Yeah. Each game is an hour and 45, so for season tournament players that's
all right.
That's
I think.
fine.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
good.
I think for new players, 700 points, you know, there's a lot to think about. It's suddenly you've got these larger heroes, say wizards potentially, or 3 attack heroes, and a lot of troops, and you're having to think about what you're doing every move. And I think that for new players, I mean, this is what James and Jamie go on about, why 500 points is good, because you don't need many models, but I think it's a lot less stressful in the game, because I was talking to a friend of mine who has never played a singles tournament before. He'll be coming to this event. He's played doubles before, but he's quite conscious of the fact that he doesn't want to feel as if he's slowing down the game and you know, taking ages over his moves, because there's so many models to move and annoying his opponent, which
I don't think it's an issue.
No,
the
not at
vast
all.
majority of players are, you know, you hear this a lot on the Facebook group going, I don't I'm not, you know, I'm relatively new to the game. Can I come to the tournament? The vast majority of players are going to be absolutely fine.
Nothing to worry about.
No,
Absolutely nothing to worry about.
I think it'll. I just think what you essentially do is you take away your tea breaks and you take away your chats about what you've been doing of late, and suddenly the game's a lot shorter.
Yeah, a casual game, you're chatting.
We always have whenever Tom comes round, we always have these ideas that we plan for like 4 scenarios, and then 4 hours later we're on turn 2 of the first game, and we've had a curry and we've had a few beers. It's like, yeah, it's not going to happen. But in a tournament, you just take that bit out of it.
Yeah.
So that's day 1.
Yeah,
and then what is this? Evening entertainment.
Yeah.
So Titans traditionally they have good relations with a pub down the road called the Catcher and the Rye, which is really nice, and we are going there for Damien's fiendish Finchley quiz.
And that's this Damien.
Correct. Yeah.
As opposed to Damien here.
It's other Damien,
it's
not
GBHL Damien.
GBHL Damien, not Damien G.
Yes.
Yes. I like quizzes. I'm a fan of quizzes. It's always a hugely fun part of the Warhammer World events. And so, again, as this is a fairly signature event, I suggested to the guys doing a quiz.
Yep.
And they were well up for it. So, yeah, there's going to be a quiz that I reckon that is the new revised timetable, isn't it? I reckon the quiz will start at about 7 because we're then going to go on and eat to allow maybe for like an hour and a half.
Oh, so we're quizzing and then eating.
And then eating, I think, is the plan.
Okay.
Yep, so there is a Lord of the Rings quiz in the evening, which obviously, if you pay your ticket, you're into.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll all be down to the pub, there's a reserved area. And yeah, I'm quite excited about that. I think it'll be good fun. Again, something a bit different for an indie tournament.
Yeah.
But again, who knows, it might kind of spread to other ones.
Do you have the dice off between heroes, or is that copyrighted by GBH?
I'm not doing that. It's there's a whole selection of different rounds that will hopefully test your knowledge of all areas of Middle Earth stuff. There are a lot of comments that I heard in Bugman's during the Throne of Skulls quiz of people go, no, when do the hard questions start?
He says, quoting himself.
I didn't actually impress myself. And and I think most people did pretty well in that. So I've tried to come up with some pretty fiendish questions.
So is it Lord of the Rings Hobbit plus? Is there plus in there?
There could be plus.
There could be plus.
It's Middle Earth themed. There could be plus. So you're going to need your knowledge of the books, you're going to need your knowledge of films, and you're going to need your knowledge of the game. So maybe when you think about teams, probably going to 37 people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Probably limit teams to about 5. I'm sure not everyone will come back, but maybe start thinking about: do you know a book nerd? Do you know a film nerd? Do you know a game nerd? Like, get in your little teams. But it should be. I think it'll be good fun. Hopefully.
Yeah.
It'll be something a bit different. And then we're going for curry.
Yeah. Is there a prize or is it?
I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think we'll have to wait and see, I guess. This is just what I was told. I think they might shout a round of drinks for the winning team, I believe, which is the traditional prize at Warhammer.
It's going to be 5 in a team. Yeah, you don't want...
a team of 17. So yeah, that'll be good fun, I think. A bit different.
Yeah.
And then, I'm sure we're going for curry and drinking beer, and I will be doing my absolute damnedest to drink slightly less than I did last year.
Yes.
There's a lovely bar on the corner.
Yeah.
You went home not because you drank so much?
No, because I decided that I wanted to be able to play the next day without feeling the effects of the night before.
You were quite wise.
You argued quite strongly against me doing this.
I think I did, yeah.
But that being said, we had one key to our bed and breakfast, so I had to amuse myself staying semi-awake so that Damien could come home and be let into our B&B.
Absolutely. We had a lovely night showing the kids how you should really dance, and stayed out and had a kebab, and we got Tom outside, I believe. We all had a group hug when you'd been in bed to welcome us back into the B&B. Yeah, and that was my first tournament where I realised that you should watch what you drink. It was the first time where I was like, there are consequences.
Yeah.
Because the next morning I felt awful. I felt absolutely terrible, and I'll spare you the details, but suffice to say I had a grim morning.
I had a nice breakfast.
I ordered a nice breakfast. It's the last I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we'll have a great night out, and it'll be slightly more... I saw the post on the event page where I said must not get as hammered as last year, and Jamie said must get Damien more hammered than last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, so day 2?
Yeah, day 2. So Starting with domination.
Cool.
A lot of people really like domination because it means you have to think about a lot of things. You've got to split your forces up, but in a way that isn't completely random.
Yeah, I like it.
So it's a great scenario.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think like you say, it's another one that mixes things up, so you just don't get two shield wars.
And because it's 25% ending, it means that, you know, that it takes out that element of look at the end in terms of the ending conditions. So
cool.
Good all round scenario.
Yep.
Then it's lunchtime, and traditionally on the second day, lunchtime, the armies, everyone will leave their army out. And
Nice voting,
yeah, everyone will vote, well, go around all the armies and look. Now, it says best army here, so I'm quite particular
Tom Harrison
on these points.
feelings.
So, I think there's a clear distinction between best painted army and best army. Best painted army is clearly who's painted their models the best. So you vote for the one that's best painted. But
it's all there in the title, isn't it?
Yeah.
Best painted army.
Yeah. But best army doesn't say painted anywhere. So for me, it's theme and it's painted, and almost that feeling of I would like to take that army home, or I'd like to play with that army. So all of those things mixed up into one. So it's not necessarily for me the best painted army.
You've said before that you've discounted the best painted army because it's not got a theme. Yeah. It's got some tournament cheese in, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think another thing, so at Mansfield, Mark Boylan's amazing dwarf conversions won.
Ponies.
And, you know, no offence to Mark, he's not at their, you know, Mars Spectre level of painting. But, but, you know, his conversions are amazing, his theme's amazing, and you just want to play with that.
It was the dedication, wasn't it? It's like, I think, to credit to Mark, if you haven't seen them, go and check out his work in progress from the Wondering. I think he's the only person in the world to have that army. There's no other one that's done the entire Thorin's company on ponies, which just makes you look and go, that's so cool.
And it's just amazing, and you know, of course he deserved to win best army. So yeah, and I would almost, it wouldn't work in practice, but I'd be happy to have two votes, have a best army and a best painted army as two separate things. I think the way around it, some tournaments do, like Mansfield did, they had best painted model and best army, so then that rewards the painter, but it does then give, you know, I think it's nice that people have a chance to bring a themed force that they've spent time converting and not have to be the best painter in the world to win an award.
And win an award, because normally if you bring an incredibly themed army, you're not going to place, like, broadly speaking, you know, like completely fluffy armies don't normally challenge unless you they had a Mary Pippin second place, please.
You don't do badly with
the Battle of Five Armies. Yeah. Well, both Throwing Skulls and the Mansfield one. So sometimes you can, but you're not going to win. No, really. Like, you know, with that kind of army. So the fact that you could turn up with something like that, like Kieran's all on foot White Council army without the decent White Council members, you know, something that's just fun. Should have an award, but we'll see. You know, people. It's interesting that you're saying that, but that's not how everyone views it, is it?
No, like, it's just my opinion.
It's how you interpret best army, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people will not get that nuance at all, and maybe it's not even a nuance. I'm just reading into it.
But yeah, be careful, guys, if you're writing event packs when you write either best painted army or best army, because this guy will vote differently.
Yeah, if it's best painted, I might vote for him. If it's best army, unless it's themed. But ferals obviously are not getting a best army.
What makes
vote.
you think I'm taking ferals?
I mean, they're not in the film for one, which is just disgusting. They're meant to be the Fords of Isaac.
Isn't that your thing as well? That's your other thing, isn't it? That's what determines theme for you, isn't it? If it's in the films.
Yeah, I mean, okay, in the books as well, there's some things that aren't in the film, say Halbarad, which are obviously very themed, so that's not a problem, but it's things
Watchers of Carnival.
Yeah, anything like that.
Abracangard.
I think the only thing I've bought as a model that's a bit like that is Black Numenorian, but they're still in the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd never go near Watchers of Carna. I mean, in general, just don't play against them.
No, I mean, like, you know, between, you want 17, if any. I would have thought, like, go all in. So that's...
Anyway, that's best army voting at lunchtime. Fifth game is Lords
This
of...
isn't so much a preview video anymore, it's an in-depth deconstruction of what we think about the entire game, isn't it?
Yeah. If you're still with us by game 5...
I love it, they're painting.
Preview.
They love it.
Yeah, they're painting.
I hope they love it. I hope they... Do you enjoy hearing me and Tom talk for between half an hour and an hour? I really hope so.
I've not gotten to this point. It's already off.
Yeah, it's long gone.
Game 5 is Lords of Battle.
I like
that. As it's James's scenario.
Oh, the Get Buff Bat Raps.
Get Buff
Yeah,
Bat
absolutely.
Um,
I like Lords of Battle. I think it's
yeah,
fun.
it does encourage to some extent a shield wall, but if one person gets in front, then there is that dynamic of it can come away from that and someone has to chase the game actively. So
I really
think
like
that's
it because
nice.
I don't think it particularly favours one kind of army. I mean, don't get me wrong, it favours all Rohan.
All hero.
But even then, all hero can give away a lot
Yeah,
of points.
with their fake
So
ones.
as soon as you get swamped, you can. I think it's good for all hero armies because they can have a go in a way that they can't really have a go at Reconnoiter.
Yeah.
But they're not. It's an even game, I think.
Yeah.
So I like Lords of Battle. I'm always pleased to see that on the roster.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
And then the final game is a new scenario devised by Damien and/or Chris.
Yeah, other Damien.
Other Damien. He can't take credit for everything. And it's called Gandalf's Cart. Gandalf's Cart.
Yeah.
So you're meant to have brought, or you're meant to bring, a Gandalf's Cart model if you have it, or if not, an equivalent model size base.
60mm base.
So I think some people like Jamie have bought a very cheap, well, I say
They've
very
got
cheap.
the foreground ones. It's the stuff from Dead Man's Hand.
Oh, it's from Dead Man's Hand.
Yeah, like they're really good, like MDF laser cut wagons that you can get. And you've got one of them on 60mm
so he's just got a wagon on a 60mm base. But you're meant to bring Gandalf on cart, and I had primed mine ready. I have not painted it at all, and I have 0 days free this week to do it.
I haven't got one. I
Um,
don't know. You can just bring a base, can't you? I haven't got a cart. Hope my opponent has a cart. Yeah, instantly out. Sorry.
Anyway, so the premise of this scenario is that Gandalf's in his cart, sat in the middle of the board, just mind his own business, doesn't move around, he's just sat there, and you have to set off his fireworks.
It's not a euphemism.
And Gandalf is synonymous with his fireworks.
I don't think he's meant to be on the cart at the time. Isn't it meant to be like the Fellowship? Like at the start, he's left his cart alone, and you're interfering with his fireworks.
Ah, like Merry and Pippin.
Yeah, because this is the other thing about the Titans events, that it's called the Longbottom Carnival. They're whichever event they run, they try and weave a kind of narrative.
Yeah.
So this is clearly meant to be at the Longbottom Carnival.
Yeah.
It's on the same weekend as the Notting Hill Carnival, so they kind of theme it around that. So yeah, this is the idea that you're now at the carnival. That's why it's the last scenario. Gandalf's cart's in the middle, and you've got to play a game around it.
Yeah.
So it's whole ground deployment, isn't it? So you come on in that Maelstrom of Battle. You get normal VPs for leader and breaking kills, I believe. And then you also get to try and destroy the cart.
Yeah, so you get 3 points for destroying the cart. But your opponent can still get a point for wounding the cart. So it's 1 point for wounding, and then you can bump that up to 3 if you destroy it. It's not a 1+3.
It's defense 5 with 5 wounds.
Yes.
It's sitting in the middle of the board, so you got to charge in and try and chop that up. And you can't do it with magic or shooting or anything like that.
No, you have to go in there and do it. But there's an added dimension. You don't have to strike to wound. You can instead try to ignite Gandalf's fireworks, and you get 1 victory point for doing this.
Yep.
And to do this, you have to be in base contact with the cart and not move. And you then roll a single
dice,
D6.
and on a 6.
Yeah. So.
Dragon has been a dragon in these parts for 100 years.
1,000 years?
1,000 years.
Oh, good impression. Yeah, so obviously quite tricky to get that 6.
Yeah, but again, it's just a cool scenario doing something different, isn't it? You'll charge in. There'll be a cart. You try to smash up a cart.
Yeah.
It's very angry behaviour. It's terrible carnival. It's like the Longbottom riots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other rules that go with this?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay.
Oh, when you set off the fireworks, the whole table counts as having blinding light on, which is quite cool.
That is a cool idea.
Very cool. In addition to the 6 scenarios, you have carnival traits.
Yes.
Where throughout every game you get to pick one of these traits and you can apply it. And so this has been in place in all, again, I think all 4 of the last Titans events, this sort of thing. And you pick an unnamed hero, so you can't boost a named hero or a monstrous hero. Pick an unnamed hero and you give them an attribute. And there's about 10 to choose from, and they give you things like +1 strength, causes terror, +1 fate, throw stones, that sort of thing. I think one of them has the sentinel spell as well.
But they're not just arbitrary special rules, they've got kind of a theme behind them. So the +1 fate is fortune teller, is the kind of premise behind it.
Carnival thing.
Strong man for +1 strength, carnival horror for +1 terror.
+1
just
terror.
4 terror.
Yeah, so again, you're getting that carnival theme, which I think kind of evokes it. Like, it's nice, and it runs through the whole weekend.
Yeah, and
you can only use each one once.
Yeah, and this time you get to choose, because in the last one it was rolling for it.
Yeah, the Shadow and Sorcerer event in March was spells, wasn't it? You got to roll for it. You had to roll with it. You had to take a chance. You had to say what you say. Don't let anybody get in your way. But this time you get to pick them, which is probably better, I suppose. But it does encourage you to take that unnamed hero.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of tournament pack.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's the lot about the event. Why you should come, I guess.
Yeah.
It'll be a great laugh. We'll be there, which is cool. It's always good to meet new players if there's anyone out there who kind of wants to come to the first event. As I said, only 5 places left as of this morning.
Yeah.
So sign up. It'd be a big event, so it'd be really good to you'll get to meet lots and lots of people.
Yeah, and there's definitely new people coming to this one.
Yeah, it's really good now. Like every event, there's a lot of new faces.
Yeah,
which is cool. You're actually getting to the position where are we about to say the same thing?
No.
Where suddenly, like Sam's last East Grinstead event, you're not guaranteed a place at an event anymore.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You had to, in the past you were trying to hit capacity, and now it's sort of like within a few minutes, the smaller events particularly are just filling up.
Yeah.
So thankfully Titans is, I think the second biggest capacity in the indie circuit. So, there's a lot of people who'll get to go to this, which should be really cool.
Now, my point was going to be that just as with Stockport, there's going to be people coming from abroad to Titans event. It's quite accessible for people who come in from abroad because it's got obviously all the London airports. I guess like Stockport because it's quite close to Manchester airport. Yeah. Farm is coming. You've played Farm before.
I did. I played Farm when I had the mother of all hangovers.
That was your first game on that morning.
First game on Sunday morning. Somehow managed to scrape a win.
Yeah, he's coming over from the Netherlands.
So
good effort.
There'll be some good people.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the fact you didn't have an army.
Yeah. So originally I was going for a beautifully themed army. I was going to go for a Frodo, Sam, Gollum, Osgiliath themed army.
Oh yeah.
With Faramir, Madril, that kind of when in the film in the Two Towers, obviously not canon of the book going to Osgiliath. And I just thought it'd be quite cool because you see Gollum a few times, but you never see Schmeagol.
Yeah.
You never see Frodo and Sam at tournament, so I thought that would be really cool. But I've not got my act together and painted the required models. So instead, I need a new army, and I haven't got anywhere with thinking about it.
Comment below. 700 points. You have no idea.
No.
Just need an army.
I should probably outline what models I have and can use.
You know what you should bring? You should bring Galadriel, Legolas, Thranduil, a bunch of Wood Elves, 2+ shoot value, some Guards of the Glathren Court. Tom's been taking absolute fluff armies to every event this year, and I think you need to bring your tournament-winning filth back.
I'd argue it's not filth though, because it's themed.
Yeah.
Just about.
It's like 6 Felbeats are themed.
Yeah.
It's the luckiest coincidence in the world. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's all from the same army list, but it's incredibly competitive.
Yeah, elves are always competitive. Yeah. Potentially. That's one option. So I have Gondor, some Rohan, enough to make an allied part of 700 points, but at the moment not 700 points worth. Elves, obviously, every type of elf. And on the evil side I have Mordor, Moria, a tiny bit of Isengard, not enough to make 700 points. Yeah, I mean, one option. I don't want to steal anyone's thunder because someone's already taking a Balrog, so I won't take a Balrog. But I do have 4 cave trolls. I'm not going to go down Kieran's route. It would just be cave trolls and goblins.
They have 4 cave trolls.
That is an option.
I think you should decide. Comment below. What should Tom take to the event? That'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Community chosen tournament army.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That would be fun.
It would be fun. Yeah, 700 point armies.
It's got to be fluffy.
Yeah.
So
or filthy.
Yeah, I mean, see what gets a good vote.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do that. That's a really weird silence. Let's get rid of that.
You wanted me to say so.
4 edits. Yeah, so do that. Let's see what the people think.
Yeah.
That'll be your army.
Yeah.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll obviously have to comment when you say use Theodred, and I don't have the Theodred model. But there is the added
Theodred.
Yeah, I was going to say there's the added bonus that Damien is quite generous and will let me borrow his models in tournaments. So
yeah. I haven't got Theodred on foot painted. I've got him on mountain. Just don't kill his horse.
Yeah.
Don't kill his horse. I will be taking some Isengard, Feral, Berserker nonsense. I haven't actually decided on the final list. Like not from a secret point of view. I just haven't written it. But it will have the usual. I am in a very good position in the league. I'm currently number 1. And I'm trying to win it.
He never tells anyone he's number 1.
No, so no one ever knows. And all I have to do is finish above Ed and Jamie. It doesn't matter where I come, but Ed and Jamie. Anyone else could, someone else could come and win like 4 tournaments and still win. But of those, it could be. But Ed and Jamie are at the moment the competition. So I need to just keep them off the top spot.
Yeah.
So I'll be that's my aim. That's my goal. Or Shane Ward.
So this is why he wants me to bring my elves, not so that I can win the tournament, because he'd be like, "Well done, Thomas." It's more, you play Jamie and play Ed and hopefully beat them, and then
crush them.
Play me and go easy.
Lose. Although I'm sure it backfire in round 1. I'll get drawn against them and lose. But yes, that's it. I'm looking forward to the tournament, but I enjoy using the army, but I am doing it from an attempt to win the league rather than a pure desire to use this army now.
I mean, you enjoy playing with it.
Yeah, I like using it, but I'd rather bring a bear, I think.
Yeah.
But I just think I've now got into this position where I can't really let that lead slip, hopefully.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my hope.
Your bear was pretty competitive when we last played.
Yeah, bear killed Azog. It was fantastic.
Azog charged in on the White Warg, surrounded the bear with everything.
Azog didn't... Oh, he charged in riding the White Warg.
Yeah, riding the White Warg with everything around the bear. Good. We'll kill him in one go. Good to get rid of the bear. Bear won.
Bear won.
Bear hurled Azog a long, long way away.
Get out of here.
Bye-bye Warg.
Killed the White Warg.
Yes. Azog comes back
Azog
for seconds.
Azog comes back in, drunk. Smash Azog.
Throwing it. Dead Azog.
That was fantastic. So yeah, some more of that, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'll be bringing.
Yep.
And that's what you'll be bringing. So yeah,
that's what I'll be bringing.
What will Tom be bringing?
No closer.
So yeah, I think that's everything.
Yeah.
That's everything.
Unless you want to say whether the channel hosts will be there, other channel hosts. So
the GBHL North.
GBHL North. So GBHL.
Half of GBHL North will be there.
Yeah. Whether you think that's the better looking half or not, I don't know. Comment below.
The sexy beardy half.
The one who's conditioner on his beard.
Yeah, I mean the other one who's like laid out on his sick bed at the moment.
Yeah.
Won't be making it. By a combination of very busy and very ill. I think it's just not a chance. But yeah, Jamie will be there. And I think probably on the Monday night, me and Jamie, I think, will probably end up doing a tournament review. Yeah. So look out for that. It'll probably be shorter than this preview.
Shorter than the preview.
Yeah, so
this has laid the groundworks. That means you can have adopt the Jamie style approach in the tournament review. Because you already know what all the scenarios are, etc.
Yeah,
Jamie can just do his
fire through.
And I won this game, and I won this game, and I won this game. Done.
Job done. So yeah, they'll be there. All your I know Ed's going, all the normal faces from the various videos will be there. Should be a really, really good event. I'm really looking forward to it. Always look forward to this over bank holiday weekend.
Yeah, and if you can come, there's those 5 tickets available.
Yeah, go and snap them up. And we will see you there bright and early on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Marvellous. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this. It's definitely been, I don't know how long it is, it's definitely been longer than I thought it was going to be.
Definitely longer than we planned.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be half an hour. I think it's probably about an hour. But we hope you've enjoyed this. As ever, don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe.
Support your hobby.
And happy strategy battle gaming.